You've been lied to about money your entire life, not by accident, by design. The real rules of wealth were written centuries ago, and they were never meant for you to read. The rich don't get rich by working harder than you do. They get rich because they understand something you were deliberately kept from learning. Right now, there are beliefs running in your subconscious that are actively repelling money from your life. You didn't choose them. You don't even know they are there, but they are the invisible chains keeping you exactly where you are. Forbidden knowledge revealed. In the next few minutes, I'm going to expose the forbidden knowledge about wealth that was hidden from the masses. The psychological code, the mental architecture, the wealth blueprint that separates the 1% from everyone else. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Your entire relationship with money is about to change forever. Before you were 5 years old, your brain absorbed everything. Every conversation your parents had about money, every sigh when the bills arrived, every whispered argument about not having enough. And your subconscious recorded all of it like a sponge soaking up dirty water. Your financial blueprint was installed before you could even read. Psychologist T. Harv Eker calls this your money blueprint. It is the invisible script that determines exactly how much money you will earn, save, and keep for the rest of your life. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that no matter how much you earn, you somehow end up in the same financial position? That is not bad luck. Programming. That is your poverty code running in the background like a virus you never installed but cannot seem to delete. As the philosopher Epictetus once warned, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. And your reactions to money were programmed into you decades ago. Your parents did not do this intentionally. They were running the same code their parents installed in them. Generation after generation of financial limitation passed down like a disease nobody knows they carry. Inherited poverty code. But here is what makes this truly dangerous. Your brain has a financial thermostat. Just like the one on your wall that keeps the room at a set temperature, your mind has a set point for money. Go above it, and your subconscious will sabotage you until you come back down. Go below it, and you will hustle desperately to climb back up. Either way, you always return to the same level. The comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. This is why lottery winners go broke within 5 years. Their thermostat was set to poverty. Suddenly having millions creates unbearable psychological tension, so their brain does what it was programmed to do. It destroys the money to restore equilibrium. And you are doing the exact same thing on a smaller scale every single day. Every time you say money does not buy happiness, every time you call rich people greedy, every time you feel guilty about wanting more. Mental thermostat set low. You are turning your own financial temperature down without even realizing it. Your subconscious will never let you outperform your self-image. And this connects to something even more unsettling. Here is something that sounds mystical but is backed by hard neuroscience. Wealthy people emit a different signal than poor people, not some magical frequency. A psychological one. It shows up in how they walk, how they speak, how they negotiate, and most importantly, how they think about themselves. Researchers at the University of California found that people can accurately identify someone's socioeconomic status within seconds of meeting them. Not from their clothes or their watches, from their posture, their confidence, their energy. Your wealth signal is broadcasting 24 hours a day, and right now, yours might be screaming scarcity to everyone around you. As Henry Ford once declared, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Ford understood this over a century ago. Your beliefs about what you deserve become the reality you experience. If this is making you see your finances in a completely new light, hit like and subscribe because we are just scratching the surface. The next revelation might be the one that changes everything for you, because here is the forbidden part. You can actually change your signal. You can reprogram what you broadcast to the world. Change your signal. But first, you need to understand what has been blocking it all along. Fear is the most expensive emotion you will ever feel. Not because of what it costs directly, but because of what it prevents you from receiving. When you operate from scarcity, your brain enters survival mode. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for creativity, strategic thinking, and opportunity recognition, literally shuts down. Shut down, you become blind to the very opportunities that could change your entire life. Princeton researchers proved this in a landmark study. They found that financial stress alone reduces cognitive function by the equivalent of 13 IQ points. Poverty literally makes your brain work against you. Not because poor people lack intelligence, because scarcity hijacks the mind, and here is the trap. The more you worry about money, the worse your decisions become. The worse your decisions, the less money you have. The less money you have, the more you worry. Scarcity brain hijack. It is a death spiral that feeds on itself. As the great Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote 2,000 years ago, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Your fear of poverty is literally creating the very poverty you fear. But there is a way to break this cycle, and it starts with something most people completely overlook. The wealthy do not chase money. They become the kind of person money flows to. This is perhaps the single most forbidden piece of wealth knowledge because it sounds too simple to be true. You do not get wealthy and then change your identity. You change your identity and then get wealthy. Every self-made millionaire experienced an identity shift before their bank account ever changed. They started seeing themselves differently, making decisions differently, valuing their time differently. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, calls this identity-based change. You do not build wealth by obsessing over the money. You build it by becoming someone who naturally creates and attracts value. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. So ask yourself right now, who do you believe you are? Are you someone who struggles with money? Someone who is bad with finances? Because whatever identity you hold, your brain will move heaven and earth to prove you right. Your identity is your financial destiny. Identity equals destiny. The rich understand this deeply. They guard their self-image like their most valuable asset, because it is. And this leads directly to the next piece of forbidden knowledge. Here is an uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to hear. Money does not flow to hard work. Money flows to value, and those are not the same thing. Value. You can work 16 hours a day and still be broke if what you are doing does not solve a significant problem for enough people. Meanwhile, someone can work 4 hours and earn millions because they solved the right problem at the right scale. The market pays you in direct proportion to the value you deliver. This is why a surgeon earns more than a factory worker. Not because one works harder than the other, because the perceived value of the outcome is vastly different. Andrew Carnegie, once the richest man alive, understood this perfectly. No man becomes rich unless he enriches others. The forbidden knowledge is this. Stop asking, how can I make more money? Start asking, how can I create more value? How can I solve bigger problems? How can I serve more people at a higher level? Solve problems, get paid. When you flip this switch in your mind, money stops being something you chase and becomes something that chases you. But there is a hidden cost that most people never see coming. Every emotional reaction you have to money costs you. Every spike of jealousy when someone else succeeds. Every wave of guilt when you spend on yourself. Every flash of anger when you check your bank balance. These are not just harmless feelings. Emotional tax wealth drain. They are an invisible tax silently draining your wealth potential every single day. Neuroscience shows that negative emotions about money activate the amygdala, your brain's threat detection center, flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline. In that state, you make terrible financial decisions. You panic sell investments at the worst possible moment. You impulse buy to soothe the anxiety. You avoid looking at your finances entirely. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. Socrates identified this trap thousands of years ago. Your emotional relationship with money determines your financial reality. The wealthy have learned to neutralize their emotions around money. They do not celebrate windfalls or panic at losses. They make every decision from logic, never from feeling. Emotion is the silent killer of accumulation. And this emotional mastery connects to a set of daily mental patterns that the rich practice religiously, but never discuss publicly. After studying over 500 self-made millionaires for 5 consecutive years, researcher Thomas Corley discovered something remarkable. The wealthy share specific daily mental habits that the poor simply do not practice. And these are not about waking up at 5 in the morning or writing gratitude journals. They are about how the mind fundamentally processes reality. 1. They think in decades, not in days. 2. They see problems as profit opportunities. 3. They invest in knowledge before comfort. 4. They associate only with growth-minded people. These 4 patterns alone separate the top 1% from everyone else. As the legendary entrepreneur Jim Rohn put it, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is not motivational fluff. It is neurological reality. Mirror neurons in your brain literally copy the thinking patterns and beliefs of the people around you. If you surround yourself with people who complain about money, your brain adopts their poverty patterns automatically. Mirror neurons copy wealth. Your environment shapes your wealth more than your willpower ever could. The forbidden truth is that getting rich is not about grinding harder. It is about designing your mental environment. And this brings us to the most powerful wealth mechanism ever discovered. The wealthiest people in history all discovered the exact same thing. Wealth creates more wealth, not just financially, but psychologically. When you genuinely believe abundance is your natural state, something shifts at a fundamental level deep inside you. You start noticing opportunities you were completely blind to before. You make decisions from confidence instead of desperation. You attract people and situations that elevate your entire trajectory. Small seed, mighty tree, abundant fruit. This is the abundance loop in its purest form. As Napoleon Hill wrote after spending 20 years studying the wealthiest men of his era, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But this is not magical thinking. This is how the reticular activating system in your brain actually works. It filters reality based on your dominant beliefs and expectations. Program your brain for scarcity, and it shows you evidence of lack everywhere you look. Program it for abundance, and it reveals pathways to wealth you never knew existed. Abundance loop activated. The filter you choose becomes the world you live in. And now, the final piece. The one that ties everything together and gives you the power to rewrite your entire financial story. Everything you have heard today leads to this single defining moment. The moment you decide to delete the old program and install a new one. Here is the forbidden truth that ties it all together. Troy, wealth is not a destination you arrive at. It is a decision you make. A decision to reject the scarcity code your environment installed in you. A decision to raise your financial thermostat. A decision to shift your identity and emit a completely different signal to the world. You are one identity shift away from a completely different financial life. The knowledge you now possess was kept from the masses for generations, not because it is complicated, because it is dangerous. Dangerous to a system that needs you to stay small, stay afraid, and stay consuming without question. The philosopher Robespierre once said, "The secret of freedom lies in educating people, whereas the secret of tyranny is in keeping them ignorant." You are no longer ignorant. Delete poverty, install wealth. You have seen the code, you understand the trap, and now you have the power to completely rewrite it. If you made it this far, comment Wealth Unlocked to prove you are among the few who are truly ready to reprogram their financial destiny. Your mind is either programmed for wealth or poverty. Now you know how to reprogram it.